In today's video, we're going to be building a full VR game from the ground up by using Unity's new AI offering, Meta's new MCP Extensions, and a variety of agentic tools that we announced during our talk at GDC 2026, where we cover all about agentic workflows. All right, let's jump into my computer and start working on it. All right, guys, so make sure that you go into the package manager and then search for Meta. If you haven't checked out these assets from the Unity Asset Store, make sure that you do that. Once you do, you should be able to see them from here. Also go into the project setup tool, and these are gonna be all the recommended settings that we need for this experience to run smoothly. Make sure that you do this on a standalone and also on Android or Meta Quest. Also enable OpenXR, Meta XR feature group. These are gonna be the runtimes that we're gonna be using. Also under Meta XR, enable Meta XR subsample layout. Once that is enabled, we're gonna be basically adding the Oculus Touch interaction profile. And lastly, apply the Android manifest changes, which is going to include additional permissions. Now, the next part that is really important is gonna be to install the assistant, which is going to be basically that chat window that we're gonna be interacting with, either by using Claude, by using Unity LLM, and also additional agents are available. So currently, Unity AI is in private beta, but that might change very soon by the time that you watch this. At cloud.unity.com, you'll be able to manage credits, review your usage over time, and by a specific AI action, such as when generating 3D objects, 2D, or agent work. All right, guys, so this is where the fun begins. Let's go into Window, AI, and Assistant. And this is gonna be the chat window that we're going to be spending some of our time on. I'll show you also how Claude works, but you have some built-in features in here that are very common. You can use Unity LLM, you can use Claude, Codex, and so on. You can also look at the chats. I'm gonna be running a quick prompt here to add a cube, and you're gonna see that as soon as I do that, there is gonna be a cube that is red, which is basically part of the prompt, showing in front of the camera. You can also see the results here, some of the code, the shaders that got generated. How about rotating the cube negative 45 degrees? Simple commands like that work great. The agent also takes screenshots just to make sure things are correct. I can also basically create components, and this is what I'm doing right here. I told the LLM that I wanted to create a rotator component. You can see that the update loop has the correct code. And if I wanted to basically change the sky in this case, just like I did during my GDC talk, when I presented along Unity, they changed the sky, they make some changes. And also we could do more complex shaders if we wanted to. I wanted to create a shader here that had multiple lines, grid lines. You can change the colors, you can change some of the pulse effects, things that are complex that are now a lot easier for somebody to do because we're using tools like this. What if I wanted to interact with the Unity game engine? I can also do that. You can see that I'm playing and I told the engine to actually do that. I can also change it to use Claude, and to do that, I need to add an environment variable. In this case, I already added it. It's the Anthropic API key. It's under AI Gateway. Just make sure that you go to the preferences to do that. So let's go ahead and select Claude, and I'm gonna create a new session. And in this case, I'm going to do something a little bit more complex, and I'm gonna basically set the camera to orthographic. We're gonna be changing the rotation. Also make sure that we can see a bunch of different cubes that we're gonna have basically beneath us. You can see that some of these commands require permissions. Just make sure you hit allow. I also want to basically add a wave effect, and you can see that as soon as I request that, the agent is actually able to do that. All right, so that was a fun demo. So now let's go ahead and install the Meta MCP Extensions. Just go ahead and get in from GitHub. Once you install it, this is basically going to extend the Unity MCP with a variety of different functionality that we are providing here at Meta. I have Claude connected. I'll show you how to connect that later on in this video, but that's the prompt that you saw there. These are all the different components that we're gonna have available. They're called custom tools. I'm also going to be telling Claude here to tell me if it knows about the custom tools that I have available. In my case, I'm worried about Meta Quest, so that's what I wanted to make sure that those were coming back in the assistant. I'm also going to go ahead and clone one of these scenes, and I'm going to add a very simple component, which is going to be a camera rig. Once you add a camera rig by using the chat window, you're going to see that now I can also tell it to open the XR simulator. I'm also going to go ahead and bypass permissions because I don't want to have to accept every single one of them. And I'm going to tell it to create an interaction rig. So this is another command that we also provide developers. I also added a grabbable, and you can see that I was able to test it pretty quickly in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can set up Claude Code. So to do that, you're going to go ahead and make sure that you have all your custom tools enabled here. Also, Claude Code integration, just click on check status. As soon as you do that, it's going to basically connect to your Claude Code instance. If you run this command, you're going to see that I have that Claude Code instance already configured. I'm going to go ahead and call into Claude. As soon as I do that, you can also change the model. These are things that are available as part of the Claude CLI. If you want to use fast mode, you can use fast mode as well. Just know that that's going to be a lot more expensive. And I can also determine if the MCPs are available here. I have my Unity MCPs and also the extensions that we have for Meta. Let's make sure that these tools have access to our custom tools. I always like to say what custom tools or what tools do you have available just to make sure that everything is set up correctly. You can see that Meta VR custom tools are available in here, which is great news. Now I'm going to create something more complex. Let's go ahead and create a new mechanic, which is going to be a ball launcher. I'm going to be able to pull it back out, similar to a demo that I did during GDC. You're going to be able to pull a ball, and then that ball is going to be launched by using physics. This right now is creating a primitive shape automatically at runtime. I want to change it to basically use a ball that is going to be a prefab available through my project. That way we can tweak it if we wanted to, and that's basically what I had it do. And you can see that I can launch it, I can test it with the Meta XR simulator. There's also a line render, I told it to do that. And you can also see that there is another line that represents what I'm aiming to. So the next part that I'm going to show you, it's going to be a basketball hoop plan. This took a little more time, and I'm going to make this available on GitHub so that you guys can see the plan, but it basically generated a plan for a bunch of different iterations that I went through in order for me to create a hoop in a way that was realistic. So that's what I'm saying in here is, can you implement a basketball hoop by using the details from this file? This file is going to be a markdown file that has all the details about the plan that I work with and I generated by iterating through this game. So let's go ahead and execute it. You can see that it generated the basketball hoop. You can see the net there. We have a backboard, we have a bracket, the rim, the net, all the different components that make up this basketball hoop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the materials as well. You can see that I'm telling the system to change it to basically use only materials because I like that style. So you can also do that when you are interacting with Claude and also the MCP. It did the same thing for the ball because I wanted to do that. And now let's go ahead and check and make sure that the physics work correctly. I can launch the ball. I have a basketball hoop that I can work with. I also wanted to add another different effect, and that's going to be a trail render on the ball. Basically, it looks like fire when I'm shooting the ball. And we can see here that it got created correctly. I can also change some of these different settings on the inspector, and I'm pretty happy with the results that it gave me. I can also use both controllers if I wanted to do that. Now, let's go ahead and create a full game, right? Like I want a game loop that is going to basically give the player 30 seconds and see how many balls we can get into the hoop. I also told the system to create a very simple UI, and you can see that UI on the right side with a timer. Now we have a game that, is somewhat working. We have a score, we have the time, we have a title. Now we can test it in virtual reality, and everything is working really well. The physics are reacting pretty well. I love how the net is reacting when the ball goes through the hoop. And honestly, pretty cool experience by building this game. So now what I'm gonna do though is I am very concerned with the aesthetics of the game. So I'm gonna tell it to rebuild the UI, make it look a lot cooler. And you can see here that it's trying to do its best to give it an arcade look. I placed the UI correctly on the right side. It didn't do at the beginning, but I was able to tweak it and tweak the UI in the way that I wanted it, but the agent allowed me to get it to a point where I was really comfortable to basically adding a level of polishing. So now what I'm gonna do is I want to do a more complex, basically statistics, right? I wanna know what's happening in the game, what the best score is, how many baskets I have, and that's what I added on the left side. Now I have a game that, it's looking good. It has aesthetic that I like. I have the arcade hoops, basically the score on the right side, and then I have more statistics about the game on the left side. What about music and sound? And if you know me, I like to make videos that have music and sound and B-roll. So that's what I wanted to do here. As you guys can probably hear right now, these are some of the different tracks that I picked for this game. These two are going to be background music. The next ones that you're hearing right now are going to be whenever I'm shooting the ball, whenever the ball is falling through the basket. And yeah, so far, these are great just to give your game a little more polishing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new folder and I'm gonna call it audio. Inside of that folder, I'm going to be dropping this music, also the SFX. And then on Claude, I'm gonna tell it, create an audio manager that can handle these different use cases. I'm specifying, okay, what tracks I want to play when. And then you can see that on the left side, I have the results. If I'm happy with everything, it's basically gonna code it. You can do plan mode, or you can do, in other cases, if you wanted to do agent mode so that it executes everything, then you can do that. So these are the results. We have music playing, we have the sound effects working, we have a timer. On the right side, we have the effects on the ball working well. Honestly, pretty happy. I like the music that I chose. So I think this was honestly a success. But it's not everything that I wanted to do. I want to add more effects to the basketball hoop. So you're gonna see here that I added another effect. This is gonna happen that we're gonna have grid lines whenever we're shooting and whenever we're basically getting a score. All right, guys, so another tool that is really powerful is going to be HZDB, which is embedded into this extension under VSCode. You can also get it from the Meta Quest Developer Hub. You can also get it as a standalone package, but HZDB is going to be very, very useful as you're working on agentic workflows. In my case, I'm going to install it into VSCode, and what's going to happen, it's going to expose an MCP. That MCP has a lot of knowledge about our documentation at Meta. It has a lot of functionality, and I'm going to show you some of that functionality right now. So what I gotta do is I gotta add these to basically my MCPs on Claude. And you can see that now I have two different MCPs. It has access to documentation. And you can also see here by using Claude Code that I have MCPs available, the same command that I always run, the same prompt. And I wanted to see that these are all registered. I wanna search the asset library as well, just to find 3D models. That's going to be one of the MCP commands or tools that are available. I can check and see what Meta devices do I have connected to my computer right now. I happen to have a Quest 3. I can also add additional information, right? I want to know more details about that device. I can see the battery, I can see the model device, what Android version is running. And the cool thing is I'm not leaving this tool, I'm staying right here, which again is really powerful when it comes to productivity. I can also see the logs from the device itself. Another really cool feature is I wanted to find out how to implement Passthrough functionality into my Unity game. So I search the entire Unity documentation under our Meta documentation, and it basically knows what it needs to do. And you can see the results here. It was able to apply Passthrough features to the game that we built without having the agent basically use more tokens, right? By having this context ahead of time, we can save tokens, we can be more productive. The agent is going to give us better results. All right, guys, so these are the results of what we went through, which is adding quite a bit of features, including pass-through features by using the MCP functionality that we just looked at. Also, physics are working great. We can see also special effects either on the ball or on the backboard of the basketball hoop itself. When we score, we have the green grid lines animating. The score on the right side has a timer. The game is going to basically restart after 10 seconds. We have statistics, or what I would call a scoreboard on the left side. So I would say experiment with this. This was a pretty successful demo for me, to be honest. I can't wait to add more features. Well, we just scratched the surface of all the agentic tools available right now. Honestly, I want you to deeply think about what we were able to do today in just a few hours. It is not about AI replacing us as developers, which absolutely won't be the case, but instead how we can leverage these tools to be way more productive, to bring all of those crazy ideas into reality quickly, to build what you have always dreamed of without having to hire a large team to begin with. Think about that. But for now, stay tuned. I'm planning to make a second video where I'm gonna go over more in depth on HZDB, VR skills for Claude, and also much more. For now, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the new videos. And consider reviewing the resources in the video description below. It should have everything we talked about today. Thank you very much, everyone, and happy XR coding.